was an ambush.
How many did you save?
Just like a dream.
You did the only thing you could do. And you lost.
Like a dream.
Look, we're still in this thing,
The day you walked away.
but we have no idea what we're dealing with.
Unfortunately. Still you haunt me like a dream.
Things are getting worse around here, aren't they?
Boyd, we're out of food.
Too many things are changing. I have to remember.
Remember what?
What's missing?
Nothing that I've been through is possible.
I think you're here for what's in the basement.
This place will not break us. We can still win. But the only way we go home is together.
Hello. The game here is rigged. Why can't they leave us alone?
No matter what this place throws at us, we're gonna find our way home.
Everybody just talks about how afraid they are of dying. Well, I don't think that's the worst thing that can happen to you here.
Hello?
Like a dream.
Are you looking for these?
Into my life.
You can't save them all.
But things are really how they seem.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. As you guys all know, it's a great time to be a From fan. Episode 7 is live, and we got a lot to talk about. So if this is your first time, welcome. If you're returning, welcome. This is the place where you can test your From knowledge from tonight's episode and participate in From trivia. So round of applause for everybody here. The chat is open. I'm seeing a couple of people from last week. We got a couple returning champions. So, of course, competition is thick. Now, I want to thank you guys for making time tonight. I so much enjoy spending time with everybody here on YouTube and participating in From Trivia. Now, if you're not familiar with how this works, I'll sort of go over and give you guys a breakdown of how it works. We get into the trivia. It's a Jeopardy style trivia. And then after that, we usually sit around and talk about tonight's episode and go over pretty much, what we saw and how the episode was. So if you're here, say what's up in the chat. Let us know where you guys are from. Let us know what you liked about tonight's episode, and I'll pull up the trivia and we can get to it. Susan A., welcome. Lily, all the way from Michigan. Oh, okay. We got a lot of Michigan people here tonight. That's great to hear. Now, last week had a couple of categories. And of course, each week I try to update based on the episode. And so tonight, category a little bit different. And I try to make it specific based on what we see. Wow, Michigan's heavy. Shout out to everybody in Michigan. Thank you guys for joining. So this week's categories: locations, the clinic. I don't know if it's everybody's favorite or everybody's least favorite, but Elgin, episode 7, of course. Cars. I feel like that's a big category tonight. And of course, the Talisman. We got what's up, D Gen Xer from West Virginia. Sadie from Chicago checking in. Welcome, Sandy. Welcome, Sandy. Now, the way we get things going is we have the categories, and the chat is open, and so we'll wait a couple more minutes for a couple more people, and then we'll start requesting what categories to start with. And so you guys can keep your own score. I tried to keep score last week. It was a little bit difficult running the boards and reading the questions, but you guys can keep score. But if somebody's winning, and we all know who won last week, then you can obviously tell. And I try to, shout those people out as much as possible as we go. Wow, Fletcher, all the way from Portugal. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. You definitely get the award for the furthest distance. We'll wait a couple minutes. I really liked episode 7. I felt like it wasn't, of course, high intensity, but, watching it a couple of times, I feel like we found a lot of information and a lot of things. So as we go through each category, I sort of break down, what I kind of saw from the episodes, and then we kind of discuss it, and I try to use pictures and things like that as well. All right, so I think that's long enough, man. I think everybody's here. I'm trying to wait for Bitey. That's right. Bitey won last week. So we'll see. Yeah, Bitey won. So let's see if he comes up. Sometimes it's a little late. I know a lot of people on the East Coast. Well, now we know a lot of people in Michigan. Shout out to Michigan. And then we know some people from our friends from across the seas, Portugal. But I am on the West Coast, so my time is a little bit different. But I appreciate you guys' time being such late at night. Yeah, the cars. I was really trying to figure out because the cars difficult. The cars category. I really want to challenge you guys, and I know it's you got to really dig deep for some of these questions and some of these answers. And it kind of hit me after I was doing my review. I'm like, man, I think this would be a good category. But I mean, don't be afraid of it. Jump right into it. You never know. You might surprise yourself. So yeah. So all right. So look, let's get right into it. Let's pick the first category. And exactly, may the better from fan win. Oh, okay, the clinic. Which person let me go back. I'll do the clinic for 4. All right, so the clinic for 400. Where did Kenny say he would take Christy if they got out of Fromville? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, welcome. Where did Kenny say he would take Christy if they got out of Fromville? Whoa. This seems to be a no-brainer. We got a lot of Iceland. Yeah. You gotta dig deep. You guys are correct. It was Iceland. You know, this is something we've seen in season one. The romance budded between Kenny and Christy, and I guess when Kenny was making progress, you know, Christy reminded him that she was engaged, right? And because at this point they were really pushing the idea that somehow they were going to get out of here and that they were going to get back to the real world. So they remain optimistic, but they were heavily flirting. We can obviously see that in season three. But, you know, Kenny's plans for love got derailed in season two when Mari somehow, I'll say that again, somehow magically ended up in Fromville. But I think we got some clues that we know that all these are not coincidences. We got Greek Girl in the building. Hey, how's it going, Greek Girl? Welcome to the trivia. We just did our first category. I'll go back and let you see what the categories are. We've got locations, the clinic, Elgin, episode 7, talisman, and cards. Now, let's see. Now, let me see. Let me take this down for 1 second, because I believe that I didn't change one of the categories. So let me make it better. All right. Because I believe it's not technically the talisman category. It's the category that says talisman is actually jukebox. So I want to make sure I get this right for everybody. Yeah, there we go. So it's the locations, it's the clinic, Elgin, episode 7, jukebox, and cars. See, sometimes it doesn't load properly, so I gotta reload the platform if I didn't reload it. So yeah, happy that you're here too. I'm happy I'm here as well. It's a great time to be a From fan. Episode 7 is out. We're 3 episodes away from the season finale, and we are in full swing. Full swing. So RCM is requesting we try Elgin next. Of course. Of course. Let's get to Elgin. So what did Elgin say to the kimono woman? That's supposed to be woman in season 3, episode 7. Now this is a 200 level question, so this is just an easy one. So what did Elgin say to the kimono woman in season 3, episode 7? Okay. We got a couple answers here. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. What did Elgin say to the kimono woman in season 3, episode 7? So pretty much this week's episode. Looks like RCM pulls it off. Very close, Fletcher. And I see you you went back and you changed it to happens, but RCM got it just a little bit before you. And so, yeah, exactly. As he says, is this where it happens? And my first question was, is this where what happens, right? Or is he talking about something that happened in the past or something that's going to happen in the future? So he didn't go into that. But we did see a couple of things there in the root cellar. And one of the things was this body, right? Like who was this and where did it come from? Guessing that they kind of barricaded themselves in there, but the way that let's say that I guess the cabinet was in front of the door on the other side, maybe he couldn't get out, right? And so he ended up just dying in there. I mean, it's really 3 days without water, 3 days 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, right? 3 minutes without air. It's the rule of 3. So he really didn't have that long to be down there without if he didn't have any water. So this was a big mystery. I feel like the show was very intentional when they highlight things, when they show things. And so if they showed this, it must come back later. So we're either going to find out in the next 3 episodes or we'll find out. But yes, you're right, Fletcher. The course does look like Jade. It does very much look like Jade. And it is his identical shirt. It is. I just did put something on my review video where I compared it to, like, man, is this Jade from the future? But yeah, I guess we have to wait. We'll have to wait. Okay, guys, that was a good one. So pick another category. All right. Did you guys pick another category? Or if not, I can stick with the same category. So we did Elgin, right? So let's keep it going. So we did Elgin for 2. So let's do Elgin for 4. Where did Elgin find the keys to the van in season 2, episode 6, when he had to drive Ellis to the clinic at night? Oh man, I just saw you guys. So we'll do jukebox next. So where did Elgin find the keys to the van? Oh, okay. We got a couple of answers here. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We got Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We got RCM, the flippy down thing under the overhead mirror. Chris Smalls, welcome to the trivia. That's the visor. Yes, he found him in the visor, right? In the visor, the flippy down thing. No, this was an important part because Ellis' life was on the line here, right? Like they had a small window to get him there from the injury. I guess punctured lung, bleeding, middle of the night. So they really had to get him there, and they did. I mean, Elgin definitely redeemed himself from the way he entered Fromville on the bus and really showed a lot more courage, a lot more guts. And I thought he was going to be a major character. But now we kind of see his character taking a turn. And I don't know if you would call this a villain or what, but he's definitely taking a turn. So we had a couple other jukebox. Yeah, so we'll do jukebox. Now, this is probably, like I said, each week I'm trying to find new questions to challenge you guys. And so this category I feel like this might be the toughest category. So how do songs start playing in the diner? We got a couple questions. Yeah, automatically, randomly. Yeah, we kind of don't know. It just start playing. I would say Geek Girl with automatically. Yeah, I mean, we see them in the diner. We see them talking, and then we see the jukebox start playing. We really don't know. We don't really know how any of this works, right? But it just seems to come on by itself randomly. In but seemingly playing a song for a specific reason that relates to either that conversation or something about that person. Yeah, so that was it. So good job. Good job on that. Good job on that. Oh, I like that. Chris Moss said the entity, and I mean, yeah, it has to be a connection there, right? Obviously, they're listening. Obviously, we know that wherever they're at, they hear something, and usually when they're talking in response, the radio plays something. So, I mean, I'll keep going with jukebox because I like where this is going. I like where this is going. So, jukebox for 400. So, what is the first song we hear on the jukebox diner? This is you guys really gonna have to get into your from bag on this one. What is the first song we hear on the jukebox diner? Okay, we got a couple of answers. So it seems like everybody thinks if I had a vote. Now this is the first song. Final answer? Did I put it on here? So the first song we heard on the diner was by Joni Mitchell. Was a song by Joni Mitchell. I just put it on here. Let me see. Let me see. I thought that it was up here. Let me I'll reattach the image. But it's a song by Joni Mitchell. But close though. Close though. Let's see. Let me see. I'm looking. It says here, season 1. Oh no. Where is that? Yeah, first song we hear on the jukebox diner. Did you got Blue by Joni Mitchell. That's what it is. I couldn't think of it. Yeah, now I won't say any more about music because you guys are in the comments. Some of these might be other answers to questions, right? But we're there. But it's a song by Joni Mitchell that's called Blue, and it says after the first night in the new house, they go. Jim, Ethan go to the diner for breakfast as the jukeboxes are playing songs, and it says after they eat, one begins playing Joni Mitchell's Blue. And yeah, so that was it. But good job, y'all. I mean, I told you this is a tough category. All right, let's keep going with jukebox. So here, what song was playing in the diner when boys said, "Yeah, they do that sometimes"? Yeah, every answer is we gotta get out of this place, right? That should be the only song that should be playing. We gotta get out of this place. So, what song was playing in the diner when boys say, "Yeah, they do that sometime"? Yeah, this is a tough category. It says Last Train to Clarksville by the Monkees, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, Lily, yeah, Last Train to Clarksville. Yeah, that's it. Train to Clarksville by the Monkees. Yeah, that's a good one. Good job, Lily. All right, let's keep it going on jukebox. Now it's getting deeper. Jukebox for 800. What was the song that played and gave Boyd the signal or the sign he was looking for? What was the song that played and gave Boyd the sign he was looking for? Okay, yeah, that's right. Wow, just finished that episode. Fletcher, okay. We got a lot of Mr. and Mrs. Smith chiming in. Both, it seems to be unanimous. First one that answered it was Fletcher. And yes, that is correct. It is Loud Love It, If I Had a Boat. And that was the sign he was looking for. That he knew that his wife was contacting him. I feel like one of the plot holes, though, is with some of the voices and some of the songs that was playing, right? Because we know that Sarah somehow could tap into the voices that were there. And she said at one time, like, she was hearing a lot of voices. It was a lot of people. They wanted us to suffer. And then another time, it was clearly Boyd's wife, right? Because she knew he was Mr. Fish and Loaves. Then another time, it was voices that knew it was Father Khatri and knew what was buried in his bag. So it's literally so many things going on as far as that they've been able to find or pick up. We don't really know. We don't really know what or who it is, but we know that there are signs. We know that his signs. Yeah, Boyd still has the boat keys. Yeah, I'm sure they're in his office somewhere. They're in a desk, and definitely really wanted them to explore that part, right? Wanted them to pretty much like it was we going to get to a boat, or we know that there's water. We know if you go by the Lost Village that there is water, right? And so there has to be boats. I mean, we've seen the drawings in the cave that apparently people came on boats and things like that. So there has to be a boat. I mean, if we go by the car theory, meaning that every car that comes into Fromville had a radio, we've seen trucks, we've seen box trucks, we've seen regular cars, station wagons. I mean, nobody was trailing a boat. Like somebody had to be trailing a boat. Yeah, so hopefully that's a plot line that they'll pick up. So let's keep it going. That same category. Jukebox for 1,000. What song played that made Kenny destroy it? So Fletcher, the radio theory was that about the frequencies, right? That something was going on with the frequencies or the energy of that place, and that nobody came in on foot. Everybody came in the car. And so could it be that the way that they all got brought into Fromville, thought it might have been through like radio frequencies and signals? Because we've seen like the 4 and 7 on the radio. We knew at the time, this is like an early season 1 theory. We knew that Jade was, building the antenna, and we heard that the creatures or the voice, there was a voice on the radio, and so we didn't know how that they were able to communicate through the radio waves. So we thought maybe they control the radio waves and they use that to bring the people, all the cars in. So let's see. Let me check the chat. What you guys saying in the chat as far as what this song is? Okay. We got Fletcher, DJ Xer. We got Mr. and Mrs. Smith chiming in. Greek girl with a question. You're not sure? Greek girl, you're not sure? Extra points if you know the band that sings the song. Celebration, Kool and the Gang. So technically, if you go by Jeopardy rules, right? You guys got Celebrate, Celebrate, but it's technically celebration. Celebration. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the first ones with celebration. Mr. and Mrs. Smith back on the board. Okay, DJ Next, celebration by Kool and the Gang. Okay, I see that. I see it. All right, let's go back. Did you guys pick another? Want to pick another category, or you want me to go back to Elgin? Or you guys want to pick another category? July Rome, welcome. July Rome's had a big theory in the comment section on my latest video. I'm gonna go to it after we finish the trivia. Okay, Greek Girl said clinic. Let's go to the clinic. So I think we did one, right? Yeah, we did clinic for 400. So let me go back. So clinic for 600. So what is written on the outside of the ambulance? We'll do cars next. EMT. Yeah, but it better say EMT. Okay, recovering RCM says Troy. Camden. Oh man, so close, Greek Girl. Help. No, really? I thought this was an easy, well, not easy, but this one was something that would bother me for a long time, trying to figure out what was actually on the side of the ambulance. I mean, every time. And I wanted to know if someone had, wrote this on there, if it came like that. But it pretty much said T period R period O period Y period, which I think is another sign. Why would there be a period after, usually they would stop in between the words. So there's so many different, meanings about this. And everybody wants to still know what it means. I mean, yeah, if you guys are familiar, there is a song out called Troy, and it's done the same way. And it's They Reminisce Over You. And so early in season 1, we had little to no information. The show just started, right? And so trying to figure out what this whole thing was about, it kind of was pointing us in the direction that they all might have been dead, and so that was like an early theory, but we have a lot of more information to know now that there's other stuff going on. So Fletcher just said, I just posted my Costa Eloise theory in your latest video. If you check it out after trade, yeah, definitely. I'll pull it up. Yeah, there's a lot of good theories. It's theory time. It's theory time. And that's actually a new one, Acosta's Eloise. I do believe Eloise is on the show, right? I do believe that she could possibly be on the show. We've seen, a child Eloise in the flashback with Victor. Even though I did feel like this episode, we got some contradictions with Victor's memory. The guy he says one thing and then he goes back and digs up some suitcase and then he says something else. So I'm starting to think that Victor's the liar. I know somebody's lying on here, and I'm trying to figure out who. And I kind of think that it might be Victor, which is a shame because we need him to find out what's going on. Acosta needs to be put in her place. Yeah, man. I feel like that was bold of her, really, to jump in Boy's face like that, and really just being so critical of him. Like, I understand, like, she wants answers, she's not getting them. I understand she's a cop, but rules go out the window. Rules go out the window. Papa Socks, have we figured out what from is yet? Yeah, we're going to talk about it after the trivia. We got a couple of new theories by a couple of our members here in the chat. We got some information on Costa. We also got some information on what's all going on, and so we'll see. All right, let's keep going with this category. That was the clinic for 6, I believe. Yep. So in the clinic, what did Tilly give Christy? In the clinic, what did Tilly give Christy? Oh man, you guys are quick. Fletcher, yeah. You guys are quick. I thought, well, this was, I thought you guys might have forgot. No, nobody, apparently nobody forgot. Yeah, this was a big conversation because the way that Christy was looking at her, like, look at her, how she's looking at that, right? And everybody was kind of saying, like, why would Tilly give her that open hand, right, in front of everybody? Like, it should have been something kind of like, done behind a closed door or something. And people were really thinking it was kind of done on purpose, like she knew something about Mari and kind of was baiting her into relapsing. We're from addicted. Yeah, exactly, right? We know every minute of this show. No, good. That's a good one. And this led to pretty much everybody thinking a lot about Tilly. But as we know, I'm sure everybody saw tonight's episode. Whatever Tilly was doing is finished now. Whatever she was doing, she's done. She's finished. Yeah, right. We will never know. We'll never know her true intent because she's out of there. What? We even catch the jukebox not being broken in the last episode. We pay attention to every little detail. Yeah, I noticed that there's multiple jukeboxes, and they might have. Well, I would say Kenny or Bacta. They might have cleaned up. Hopefully, they cleaned up after themselves and just moved a couple of jukeboxes around. Yeah, I'm sure they had a couple extra. I'm sure they had one at every table, but they might have not had them on every table. But no, there's been some big continuity issues in the show. And I was saying that before. I think some of the theories that we might have just been bad continuity by the show, but I won't say more because one might be a question. So I won't, you guys can guess it, but it might be a question. So Fletcher said there was only two. Okay. I can believe that there was only two. And they're both brand new. Oh yeah, that's definitely continuity. All right, let's keep going. So the clinic, right? That was, yeah. So the clinic for 1,000. So this is a tough one, y'all. This is for 1,000. What is the name of the school on the outside of the clinic? This has been a topic of debate for a long time. Now, Faith is Monsters Inc. Yeah. And so some of these questions, you guys understand, we could have a lot of people in chat, and somebody might have information that we might not have, and somebody might know, right? Somebody might have figured it out. So I'll always put it out there. So it says could never make it out. Elementary, high school. Okay. Chocolate Beauty, welcome to the trivia. That is a great addition. Fletcher, something elementary, high school. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time trying to figure this out, right? And I tried to start with where in what state would they have an elementary high school, right? And I'm laughing because I'm like, it's got to be somewhere down south, right? It's got to be somewhere deep south that they got an elementary high school, right? It's definitely. But as you can see, there's letters. There's some letters partial, some mixed. So we don't know what it could be. A lot of people thought that this was something to deal with like space, right? Celestial or something like that. Because at the time, I believe they made the connection with Father Catri's chocolate bar, what that was called, like, I forget what the name of the chocolate bar was, but that was something to deal with space. And, there was bright lights and things like that. So everybody thought it was something about space. So July Rome says New York has an elementary high school. I bet they do. Yeah, I thought it was something like Celestial, right? That's what a lot of people said. Star Magic. Yeah, I even made that connection. Star Magic. Like, is this Star Magic Elementary School? But I honestly think somebody had a better picture, and I don't know how they did this. I don't know if this is reverse or what, but it looks like it says West Falls, right? So who said somebody said that? West Falls. Somebody said Mr. and Mrs. Smith said West Falls. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like this, and I guess this is a shot from inside the clinic, it looks like it might say West Falls Elementary High School. So that's the best we got. Damn, they go to preschool and high school in the same building. There's a combined high school, middle school, one building, half and half. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of those. Yeah, so West Falls. So that's the best we can come up with. But I mean, I think it's going to take a village to solve some of these crimes, these mysteries. So I keep putting these on there, and we can discuss them live. So I think that's good information. So that was the clinic. So we cleaned out that category. I think we got a couple more. You guys want to pick another category? Yeah, me too. I'm going to rage if it has anything to do with aliens. I know exactly. Too many shows ended with aliens. Too many. Just too many. It's been done too many times, right? We want something fresh, and we were all attracted from because we believed it was something else. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Run up these likes. Someone said cars. All right, let's do that. That's right. I said cars next. Yeah, let's do cars. All right. So cars for 200. What color is the 1978 Bronco in Victor's flashback? So Geek Girl said orange. What would make you think orange? Fletcher said reddish. Oh, just total guess. Lily with the yellow. Dun, 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 dun. Correct. It is yellow. Now this is another picture but it's the same Bronco in the picture. And I don't want to show the picture yet because there's another question from that picture. Yeah, Broncos are popular, right? I mean, ever since the show came out, I've seen a lot of Broncos, right? I mean, I saw a vintage one the other day, but I saw the new 2024 Broncos. I seen a Bronco Raptor. Like, man, a lot of Broncos back on the road. All right. Yeah, exactly. Yellow is the primary color. Yeah, July Rome. Yeah, yellow is the primary color. So let's keep going with that category because the next one relates to that same one. So what car is seen in Victor's flashback of the day of the massacre? So there wasn't that many cars, but there was a couple cars, right? And so I'll bring the picture up. And so this was the day of his massacre. So you guys see the Bronco back there. So you see the dog, and then you see the boy in white, and then you see the yellow Bronco. Now, the car I'm talking about is this car on the left. Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's Christopher's car, and I looked at Christopher's car, but I couldn't. The way he was sitting on it, I couldn't figure out enough of the picture to even tell what it was. We got a whole bunch of questions. Somebody went V-Dub, Volkswagen, another America kind of reference with all Fords, right? Man, yeah, this is a tough category, but this, I felt like the last few weeks the categories have not been as tough, so I spent a little bit of time making it a little bit tougher. But if that's the final answer, I'll say this is we all know that this happened in 1978, so that was the key. But this is a 1978 Thunderbird. Yeah, this is 1978 Thunderbird, and then back here on the right was 1978 Bronco. So this car's category was good. So I think that was the one for 400. So we did 2, then we did 4. So next is 600. So here we go. So here's a real question for you guys. What color is Victor's mom's car? He drive a Tomo scooter from 1993. What? Nice. Someone said the language that the Ankui kids are speaking actually native Yuchi. What? Fantastic years when I was born. Fantastic. Yeah, it's hard to kind of tell what the actual color was because all the cars have been sitting there for a long time, right? So it could be one color, or it could be rust, right? It could be maroon, it could be rust, it could be orange, but it could be rust, right? But it could be one of them, right? We don't know. Um, Chocolate Beauty says blue. Fletcher says blue. Got to be an orange car in the show somewhere. So I thought this would be a tough one because they did go to the car graveyard, and this is when we saw all the cars. And Victor was sitting on here, and he was like, "This is my mom's car," and it looks, and I can't really tell, but it looks either maroon or orange. I'll say maroon or orange is the same thing. Yeah, I'll say it's the same thing. I mean, I couldn't find a bigger picture of it, but I'll either go with either maroon or orange. So Faith and Repentance and RCM. Good job. Good job. So that was 600. So here we go for 800. Okay, so this one you guys should know. Been a lot of talk about this lately. What car did Boyd drive into the town? How well were you guys paying attention? What car was Boyd driving when he came into town? Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about it later because of the Rendezvous move trailer. Everybody just remember the boat keys. I mean, they really just showed inside the car. You really couldn't see the steering wheel, but of course, it had a front and back seat. It looked like an SUV. And he only got out the car for a quick second. Maybe it may be like it was an SUV type. It wasn't like a Jeep. People went searching. Yeah, exactly. But it was definitely a larger car. So let's see if that's your final answer. It was a Buick. Boyd looks like the type that he would drive a Buick. Yeah, Boyd looks like the type to drive a Buick. So Greek Girl, we asked a question. I'll go back for Greek Girl. That was cars. Sorry. What car did Boyd drive into town was the question. And I think you just saw the picture. It was a Buick. And then you can see he had the Rendezvous trailer. Now, I was trying to, that car's. Oh, man, I'm sure it's safe, right? It's safe and efficient for Mr. Fish and Lowe's. And, I was looking back at this. I was trying to figure out, like, man, where was Boyd going, when they were, driving this truck, right? I mean, because he obviously has a moving trailer, but he never really said anything about moving, right? He never said anything about moving, about buying a house. And, usually people talk about stuff like that. I mean, it kind of really looked like he had something in there that either, he didn't want to talk about or something he was hiding. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really wanted to know how come he didn't go back to his trailer and get something. And if he's moving a house, I mean, that's the smallest trailer that you can have. I feel like he would need a bigger trailer. So someone needs to show up on a motorcycle or dirt bike. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they got electronics. So like we were talking earlier about the car theory that everybody that came in showed up in a car, and it might be because each car had a radio. I wouldn't let someone take control of my town if they showed up with that car. Yeah, right. Like, hey, what car you drive? A Buick? Nah, you're not in charge. You're not in charge. All right, so here we go. I think there's a big question. The big question: what car did Fatima say she drove into town? Yeah, you couldn't ride a bike in the snow. I mean, you could if it was like a dirt bike. So Fletcher said a golf. Recovering RCM said a bug. Mr. and Mrs. Smith said a beetle. Um, Fletcher said a yellow golf. Miss T, welcome. Why'd you say broke down Chevy? Broke down Chevy. That's hilarious. I mean, I believe she said it was a yellow Volkswagen Beetle, right? So Beetle bug. I think that's really what it was. And one of the questions we brought up the guy named Eric, and Ellis was explaining that when he saw her pulling the town, and she asked Eric for directions, and he's like, "You were in that yellow Volkswagen Beetle or yellow bug." Yeah, so that was it. So good job, guys. So yeah, cars was a tough one, but like I said, I'm trying to come up with a couple of categories here, so that way, um, it's a little bit tough. So we still got a couple of categories left. We did the clinic. We still have locations to go through. We got Elgin left, and I believe we didn't do any for episode 7 yet. Yeah, right. Don't say it. You guys want to pick another category? The categories we got locations left. Yeah, okay, let's get right into it. What was the first location we saw in from? Oh man, Fletcher. Now there's possibly three answers here. Hmm. Jim's RV. Oh, RV. I'm like, what's the RV? The barn, church. No, so I believe that is true. Fletcher, we did see Boy Ring the Bell, and we did see, of course, the creature. Uh, I had the first location in Fromville. I thought it started outside with the RV driving, and then they turned on to the highway. But we know that highway was not in Fromville. And so when they turned on the highway, they came to the tree. So technically, the tree would have been the first location they saw in Fromville. But we did see inside Fromville with Boyd ringing a bell, with Megan and all that going on. And we did see the Matthews next. So I should have put what was the first location that Matthew saw in Fromville. So let's keep going. So locations 400. Where did Fatima need where did Fatima need a day off to? I worded it wrong, but where did Fatima need a day off to? So Ellis came up to Fatima and said, "You know what? You need a day off, or you need to go somewhere." Where did he say they needed to go? Of course, you guys remember to keep the likes going. Remember to keep the likes up. Remember to subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. I just put my new review out where I go over to episode 7. So Fletcher said the beach, the pond, the Brundles, the pond. Miss T said the Brundles. Now, usually Miss T knows. RCM it was the first to say it was the Brundles. The Brundles. Now, we don't know what the Brundles is or why they even call it the Brundles. But we do know we got a lot of information here. For one, we found out about Fatima's past. And then for two, we also got to see, from what I thought was there was going to be something in the Brundles. Like if you watch this scene, the camera, like Julie was kind of sitting there when Fatima and everybody got in the water, and it kind of felt like it was something in the water that was either going to that was watching her or not, because she had this like uneasy feeling when she was over there, but nothing really came of it. But maybe, once the season finishes, we'll be able to go back to it. But here, Fatima said, talked about living in Iran, about when her father died, and about some men came and dragged her father out and killed him on her birthday. And we didn't hear much about it, but this kind of brought up the theory, like, why she didn't say who killed her dad? Like, was it people from Iran? Was it soldiers? Was it military? Like, she didn't really get into the details. Yeah, exactly. With all that wood, right? It would have built a boat. The Brundles definitely needs to be investigated. I did a video on my page about what the possibility of the Brundles could be from the name and from how they refer to it on the show. They refer to it like a thing or a person, like, oh, the Brundles. And there's a couple meanings behind it. I might play it after we have our discussion. But so I believe that, Boyd was in the military, Abby was in the military. Now, Boyd, it did say that Boyd was in Afghanistan and Iraq, which is right next to Iran. So he could have easily been doing a mission that somehow could have been something tied up with Fatima. And how crazy would it be if Fatima comes to America and ends up marrying the son of the man who killed her father? So that's crazy. All right, so let's see. We got locations. All right, so where did Frank meet his end at and from? Yeah, the kimono lady has to be tied to the show somewhere. And honestly, the only way she can be tied to the show is with the water and Elgin, right? I mean, we know that for a fact. So you guys are too good. The box. And, I put this question in here because I hadn't thought about the box in a while, and I think you guys are right. Like, they're testing Boyd really bad, right? Like, meaning Acosta testing Boyd. We got Donna testing Boyd, everybody testing Boyd and really not putting enough respect on his name. And I really felt like he might need to bring the box back, right? Right. Yeah, we haven't heard Frank's name in a long time. Frank's been long gone, right? Yeah, exactly, right. We might even see. Could you imagine that if Fatima has to go in a box while she's pregnant? Man, Granny Tilly, man, gave her a raw deal. And that's what I mean. It looks like that's what's going to happen. Is she going to have to? And if anybody, I think it's going to be Acosta pushing for justice, is going to really be pushing for Fatima to go in the box if it comes to that. Tilly was your heart, Greek girl. I'm just still trying to figure out if Tilly was a good guy or a bad guy, because she was a little bit mysterious. Yeah, man, those lines in that first episode really set it off. Says she's going to the cellar for a worse fate. So yeah, so we haven't seen much for the box, and maybe they'll bring it back. So here's another question. So where was Tom an associate professor at? Now, everybody knows Tom. And the reason why I brought Tom back up is because Tom made an appearance last week, right? And Tom was the old bartender. He unfortunately passed away. But he comes back time to time. We saw him last episode. He was talking to Jade. And so it made me think of him. And so where was Tom an associate professor at? You don't remember, Greek girl? How you don't remember? Lily says MIT. Oh, we got one. We got Fletcher on one. Lily says Mitchell. Now, Beth Berry. Beth Berry, welcome to the show. Very happy to have you here. And we'll let you know, Beth Berry, that you are correct. He was an associate professor at USC, Southern California. Good job. Good job. Good job, Miss Beth Berry. So we'll keep it going on locations. Oh, so that's how you knew. She said my daughters went there, so that's how she knew. Now, the last question is, what online newspaper did Tabitha find the article about her missing family? Yeah, me too, man. A lot of people was, but the reason why I circle back on this because the newspaper that we're talking about, there's a website. It's an active website. You can actually go on it. But recently, I guess I went on it too many times because you can only go on it 3 times. So I can't go on it anymore. But you can still see it, but it just says your free trial has expired. So you can only go on it like 2 or 3 times. But yeah, it's a real site that they have up there, and there's a lot of Easter eggs on there. So we got Camden News, something Phoenix. We got I Can't Remember. Oh, Beth Berry forgot. There's actually a faraway tree paid behind Henry and Tabitha is eating his house. Yeah, exactly. I did see that. I saw that. Bottle tree, faraway tree. Man, so if that's your final answer, guys, it's called The Desert Star Chronicle. And a lot of interesting things about this. For one, it was written by somebody named Ethan Clark. Now, of course, we know that the Matthews family's name is Matthews. And so we know that their son name is Ethan, but his name would be Ethan Matthews. And at first, when I first saw this, I'm like, where's Ethan at? Right. So we got Tabitha, Jim, and you got Julie. And then we got the roller coaster behind him. So, I mean, this pretty much to me validates that Jim did build engineers, but Jim did build roller coasters. And so I believe that because I know somebody's lying, right? And I don't, it's not that I thought Jim was lying. I just wasn't seeing him engineering enough to be a roller coaster, builder, right? But maybe he's not designing it. I think designing and building might be 2 different things. So he's probably following the blueprints that an engineer made. So he might really just be a mechanic. But then we also saw all the rendezvous, ads on here, and then we also saw a couple other things on here that was Easter eggs. Now, when they scroll down, Ethan was in the picture, but he's just not tall enough to be in this frame. And because at one point in season 1, I kind of thought that Ethan might be dead, right? That was kind of my thoughts, that Ethan might have been dead in season 1, but since then I kind of believe that he's not. But that's only when we only had 1 season and really didn't have a lot of information. But it's Desert Star Chronicle. All right, so that was locations for 1,000. So I think the categories that we got left are Elgin, episode 7. I'm surprised we didn't do any in episode 7. Let's do some episode 7. So what did Christy say Fatima pregnancy was called? Oh, wow. That's actually good. RCM says another star correlation. That's right. There's a lot of star correlation. It says psychosomatic. What you guys got? Tom who? Hysterical, right? It was called Hysterical. No, you're exactly correct. Gen Xer. It is called psychosomatic pregnancy. Good job, right? Where it's a rare psychosomatic disorder. It's false but non-delusional, right? Because there are signs and symptoms that you could be something's going on with your body, but there's no positive test, right? So you've got body changes, weight gain, sensation of fetal movement, distended abdomen, menstrual irregularities, labor pains, everything, but you just don't have the actual diagnosis. And so I thought that was a big deal. She said, July Rome said she just had gas. Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh, yeah, she did say or hysterical. That is what she said, or hysterical. That's what Fatima said, right? But not what Christy and Mari said. But yeah, I mean, that was a big thing because I mean, I mean, you gotta love and hate how the writers and how Jack Bender, John Griffin throw these red herrings at us, right? Like I said that before, they're obviously trying to trick us. They're giving us information or giving us storylines that don't lead anywhere, while the main storyline is over here on the right. The main storyline is definitely Tabitha and Jade. That's the main storyline. And at one point, I didn't even think it was Jade, but I see Jade really becoming the main storyline. There's Fatima, Ellis, Boyd, Donna, everybody else. And the reason why I say that they're not main storylines because they don't want to go home, right? The main part of this show should be trying to get home. And there's only 2 people that want to go home. Everybody else is just comfortable living their little lives, dealing with the issues, going to get the vegetables and, putting people in boxes. Like Boyd is at his height of his life in this. He'll never want to go home. Christopher, welcome. So good to have you. Look, Lily knows exactly what's going on with Fatima. She's a Wendigo. See, she knows. All right, let's keep it going. Episode 7. What medicine did Ellis try to steal from the clinic? What medicine did Ellis try to steal from the clinic? Ellis went all in, man, right? He saw how bad Fatima was doing. It hurt him very bad. And he, pretty much busted into the clinic and grabbed the first pills he saw. But this is what I want to know. How did he know what to grab, right? Like, there's 2 things I need to know about Ellis, right? How did he know what to grab, right? Because if you look at a cabinet, if you go to the hospital right now, open the hospital cabinet, right? You'll see all this stuff in there. How do you know what to grab, right? For what the person has. So I always want to know, how did he know to grab that, right? You're right. There are antipsychotics, but I was looking for the name here. It looks like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Says someone actually has a full name of the medicine and the name who was for. Yeah, exactly. I saw that. I could tell by the way they zoomed in, right, that I knew that this was going to be important So it says something Thompson, and it says paliperidone, right? And I looked it up for what it is, and it says that it's like you guys were saying, antipsychotics. It helps balance like the serotonin, so the person can pretty much feel could feel normal, balances them out. It's used for people with schizophrenia, right? So that's what I was saying. Like, how did he know what she was going through, that she was schizophrenic, and how did he know the exact schizophrenic to get? Yeah, I believe that it was just somebody that they found, right? Because Ellis said there's tons of medicine from the ambulance, so it had to be in the ambulance, right? But we don't know. It could have been from what ambulance? It's technically two ambulances, and then also you're right. It could have been, um, it could have been somebody in the town. We don't know, but yeah. So it's for somebody with schizophrenia. But the reason why I bring up schizophrenia and pausing on that is because I think what are the chances that multiple people that have schizophrenia are in the same room together? I don't know if that has ever happened. Like, has multiple people with schizophrenia ever been put in a room together? Because I think we're going to start to find out that there's a couple of issues with a couple people here. Like, Sarah obviously is schizophrenic, right? I even interviewed Sarah, Avery Conrad, who plays Sarah, and we were talking about, the worms that appeared on Sarah's arm, and why did it kind of look like cuts? And was that a connection to some type of past psychological disorder? And she didn't want to answer. She said, I don't want to give that away. I don't want to answer. So I feel like I was going in the right direction with Sarah, but I didn't have anything else to go on. But I do think that Sarah might be schizophrenic. So what's the chance that Fatima is also schizophrenic? And then we find out 2 or 3 other people are schizophrenic. Like, then that kind of might lead us to what is really going on if there's 3 or 4 people who are schizophrenic in the same place. So Greek Girl says, so basically for people with schizophrenia, yeah. Yes, that is exactly right. That is exactly right. Now, I also looked up what was the side effects, right? Because, because Christy was pretty avid, like, hey, if you give this to her and she has problems, it'll make it worse. So I was trying to figure out, like, how will it get worse, right? And so I see Christopher saying, will she be able to fight the other monster? Hopefully she can fight the monster, right. She'll take the medicine and become a monster herself, right? Yeah, so let's keep going. So that was episode 7. So for 600, what did Julie and Randall see after they got out the van and walked in the woods? And I'm happy that Julie has a storyline, and I'm actually happy that she calmed her acting down. I really felt like she overacts every scene, especially in season 2. And so I'm happy that she's kind of chill and smoking a little bit. And so I'm really happy. So we got the pills would have made her a zombie. We got the ruins. We got ruins. We got Martin's ruins. The tower. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a structure that we don't know what it is, and something was there that was apparently multi-leveled. I mean, the door to the tower looks a little different, but it could be something like that. Yeah, exactly. Where they were trapped at, but the music box was at. Yeah, we don't know, because they say it's the lighthouse. They call it the tower. We've heard that these things were referred to in different ways, but I believe there is a technical term that they called it. I believe they called it the ruins. They did call it the ruins, but there's a certain word they called for it. They called it the destroyed ruins. That's what they called it. So yeah, the ruins. So anything about the ruins is exactly correct. The destroyed ruins is, I believe, how they put it. So good job, y'all. But I really want to know what they're trying to do with. I mean, pretty much these three with Julie, Randall, and Mary. Mary's really not participating with these two, right? But we see like there's some sort of connection formed between some sort of trauma bond, right? Formed between Randall and Julie. And then they come to this place and Julie starts to react to it a little bit. And Randall tells her no, right? I mean, I guess Randall's already having a hard enough time, seeing the cicadas. Yeah, pretty much the dungeon. And so, but it looks like that they're going to come back to this place and something's going to happen because that's usually what happens if you're already tapped into this place. I mean, we've seen what happened to Sarah when she comes to this place. I mean, her head almost exploded. And now it seems like Julie is having some effects for this place too. Now, I do remember that Boyd needed he needed the torch, right? So, but we don't know if Randall was definitely scared of the ruins. Maybe he knows that's where he ends up chained up. Yeah. Boyd needed the torch, right? And he needed to light the torch to get out of that place. And so maybe, will Julie need the torch, or how will she enter it? And obviously the ruins are obviously not there where they're at right now. So if she goes into the ruins, is she going into another dimension, or is she going back in time, right? So there's a couple questions that we got to ask. They can come back as well as we, right? Yeah, that's going to be the trigger. They can burn one and it's going to transport them into this place. That's exactly what's going to happen. Man, that's hilarious. So I mean, this was a storyline we saw. I kind of wanted them to get to it, right? Yeah. Oh wow, the cycle of the cicada. Wow, I like that a lot. Yep. Since season 1, I suspected that Boyd was going to travel to 1864 because he had a bottle note inside of his pocket, and I theorized that's how he can control traveling through the trees. All right, let's keep this going so we can get to the discussion. We're reading episode 7, so here we go. So episode 7 for 800. What did Tabitha say was behind the red rocks in her dream? And that's exactly right. She doesn't know. Once again, Tabitha's famous answer, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. She doesn't know. But whatever it was, she said whatever was making the people scream, it was on the other side of the rock. And when every time she turned to look, she could not see what it was. I mean, Tabitha, we love you, but she's sometimes so useless, right? I mean, come on. Just a little bit of information. What did it look like? Shape? Did it have a big shadow? Did it have 2 arms, 4 arms? Did it have 2 heads? Like, what was it? A glimpse of information, please. But a lot of good information from this scene, and we find out that she had multiple dreams, and then Jade kind of Jim is useless. Exactly. How mad was Jim when he saw her walk up with Jade? He was fired at that. Well, hold on, Beth. We didn't get to that part yet. We can talk to that in 1 second. We didn't get to that part yet, but it could be. I mean, it could be. It had to be something from the way that the scene looked, right? it was up high, and when it looked up, right? So it could be a giant spider. Jim and Tanya, I mean Tabitha, Jim and Tabitha are both useless. What was I was going to talk about this scene. So yeah, so Jim pretty much breaks it down, and this is a big piece of information. And so a lot of people were saying that there wasn't this episode, they didn't like it, there wasn't anything going on. I'm like, I don't know what they expected to go on. We got a lot of information, and one of the things we got was that Tabitha was going to end up here no matter what. If she was having dreams as a child, right? If Boyd's wife Abby was having dreams as a child, right? If all these people are having dreams outside of Frumland when they were children, that means that they were always going to get here, right? And so I think that was a big revelation that this is not random. I mean, we heard that when Tabitha was in the real world in Henry's basement, Henry said that Miranda said she was chosen, right? And then we've heard other people say that they, experienced things outside of here that brought them here. So we know that this is all purposeful. It's the same, and the Greek girl says it's the same as those people who hated every episode of House of the Dragon without dragon fights. Yeah. They gave us a lot of answers, right? And they're setting up for a lot. I mean, we got a lot of information. Fletcher says Tabitha was useless in the real world because she freaked out and didn't go to the bottle tree. I know. So I saw a funny on one of the Facebook groups. I saw a funny post where somebody was like, "I'm driving to Maine to finish the job that Tabitha couldn't." Miss T says Jim was setting off late to go back to town. You mean when they showed up, that was late? I mean, I feel like it was still light out. I mean, I guess they know how far it is, and they know they could get back before it got dark if it was getting dark. But yeah, they were probably cutting it close. All right, so that was episode 7. So here it is, the big question. So I didn't know that this would come up here. I thought it would have clicked in, but what can you see in the background when Elgin is opening the cellar door? Yeah, exactly. I think so. Yeah, it was never nighttime in Camden, Maine. I mean, that's a good question, Lily. We don't see it being nighttime, but we see Henry asleep, right? We know that Tabitha passed out. So it's like these random things that happen, and we kind of can't get an idea of how long it happened, right? We see Henry asleep where it had to be night. Tabitha apparently passed out on the porch. She had to be passed out all night. So he says, right? So what can you see in the background when Elgin opens the door? So Lily, the red door is inside. So this would be outside when he's opening the door. Miss T says grass, bed, old chair. No, that's inside. This is outside. So, but this was one of those clues I was telling you about. So people were talking about this in the Facebook groups, and they were talking online. And actually, IMDb actually listed this as a goof, right? As Elgin is climbing into the root cellar door, there's a plane that flies by. And I guess they missed it. So this line here is, I guess, the trail from the airplane. I couldn't find the exact spot where the airplane is, but it's been confirmed like there's an airplane that flew right over while they were filming. So that was it. So this let me know, though, and the reason why I put this in here is because this let me know that they mess up sometimes. So some of the things that we think they're doing, they're like, oh man, this means that. It doesn't mean anything. It means that they were sloppy on the set and they messed up. Yes, but it's not part of the plot, right? No, they confirmed that it wasn't part of the plot, right? But could you imagine that? They confirmed that it's not part of the plot, right? But it could, but that's how it happens, right? They mess up, they do something, and we're literally analyzing every part of this show. And then we come to think it is something when it's not. But yeah, they messed it up, right? Oh, you're talking about when they were arguing. Yeah, Jim. I mean, Jim is a real actor. I mean, Jim was in Fight Club. I don't know if you guys know that. Jim was in Fight Club. He looks much, much younger, but Jim is certified actor, right? I've heard people talk about him and other stuff. And then Tabitha, the person who plays Tabitha, Catalina, she was in Maria Full of Grace and Academy Award nominee. So I mean, and then don't even get into Harold Perneau. I mean, that guy's been in more movies than a lot of people's probably even seen. And truth be told, I think Kenny's pretty good too. Kenny's got some acting chops on him, man. Kenny has brought the pain a couple of times. He's got good facial expressions. Um, but yeah, these guys can only be as good as their script or their role is, right? Uh, Jim is getting hate because his script makes him look like he looked like that. Yeah, he's an amazing actor, right? And of course, yeah, that's where I was going with next. I mean, you gotta give a lot of love to Scott McCord, Victor himself. I mean, if you guys seen Tropic Thunder, you never go full retard, right? And Victor is Scott is playing on the line with that one, but still amazing, right? I mean, Scott is doing an amazing job as Victor, and I think he's is really helping the show get where it needs to be. Yeah, of course, Donna, Henry. I'm trying to think. Oh, Henry. Yeah, yeah. When they brought in Henry, I knew something was going on, right? Because Henry's a big deal, right? Henry was in a lot of movies, right? And he was mostly on recently on Law and Order, so he's with it. He's with it. So when they brought in Henry, I'm like, oh, they trying to go somewhere. And listen, those first couple of episodes and scenes with Henry in it, he was carrying those scenes, especially at his house in the basement. That actually scene in the basement is probably one of the best scenes that they've had so far. Like he really was laying a lot of stuff out. So he says, was the man dressed in the red in real world Camden a mistake? Also, he shows up like 3 or 4 times when Talbot leaves the hospital and meets the boy and why he's weird. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of 4 year consideration going on in this season. And I think that Harold needs to win one first, and then they need to let everybody get one because they're doing a lot. Yeah, somebody messaged me about all this stuff, and maybe I'll bring it up. I mean, there's a lot that people were saying was happening in Camden, and if you've ever been on a movie set or a part of a movie or background, sometimes people sneak in 2 or 3 scenes. Um, I did have the chance to be in a movie, and I was a background, and I was in like 2 or 3 scenes. And I mean, it's just sometimes they need people, and they need it to be full, and they got who they got, and they redress them and put them back out there, or you keep the same clothes. They try to keep track of people, like the background actor ad I said I responded to. It said, if you've been already in this movie, don't apply again. People was replying again. So I mean, from that part, as they make mistakes. All right, let's see. So that was episode 7, right? Yeah, that was the last one episode. I think we got Elgin left, right? So here in Elgin for 600, what did Elgin's grandmother used to do? Now this I had to look this up because I knew he talked about his grandmother, but I could not remember what he said she did. Man, yeah, Christopher always says that if he was on this series. If Christopher, if you was on the series, man, you you might end up like Dale. Try to do something. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Crochet Owls, Lily Knit, Funny Sagittarius Knit. No, you guys are good, man. You guys are good because I didn't remember that. And it was Knit Owls, right? It was Knit Owls. Rest in Pool Dale. It was Owls. So Elgin for 800. What did Elgin used to do? Now, same type of question. What did Elgin used to do with his grandmother? Now, he said Elgin did owls. So Christopher thinks he'd be out of Fromville in 2 weeks. But what if time doesn't move the same, right? So what if time doesn't move the same, right? And 2 weeks is really like 2 years. So you have to be out of there in 2 minutes. See, like this whole, and you know they hear everything that you say. So any plan that you speak out loud, they're gonna know. Funny Sagittarius, that is correct. Go to church. All right, I think this is the last question, y'all. Elgin for 1,000. Now this is a defining question. If you guys know this one, you are from aficionado. PM, welcome to the stream. We're on the last question before our discussion. Just in time to chime in. Now, I would say this might be the hardest question tonight. He used to freestyle with his grandma. Christopher, are you Christopher actually? PM knew it. That's right, make owls. Now, who did Fatima tell Elgin they used to say this place was calling out to them, but only some heard it? PM, who is Nadia? Let's see, where's Mr. and Mrs. Smith at? No clue. Come on, guys. These are the details. These are the details with how we figure out the show with little small details like this. The ancestors. No, listen, guys. I really want to congratulate PM because this is exactly right. That is exactly right. She said this place was calling out to us. Well, she said Nadia said this place was calling out to us, but only some of us were listening close enough to hear it. Congratulations, PM. Wow. PM came in here swinging. Came in here swinging. But it is bigger question, like who is Nadia? Like they mention it, right? They have this big quote. We're trying to figure out what the Brundles is, and she brings her name up, but there's really no more information about it. And so that is a big mystery. And remember, part of the show is trying to help us remember these things and these details so we can all figure it out. Like I think it's going to take all of us to figure it out. Miss T, that is correct. I mean, who is Nadia? Is it Nadia, the water goddess, the water witch, all that type of stuff, and what if Nadia turns out to be the kimono woman, right? There's so many details, right? So many details. Well, that was it, you guys. We can get to the discussion now, but I hope you guys enjoyed the trivia part. Man, I think I tried to make the questions just a little bit tougher, and I think you guys nailed it. In the categories tonight were locations, the clinic, Elgin, episode 7, jukebox, and cars. I actually like this combination of questions the best. Thank you very much, Fletcher. It was fun. Lily says, "What is the name of the female who got glass in her eye and with a patch?" Now that was a question we had two streams ago. Her name is Clara. That was fun. Thanks for that, Clara. Yeah, we all know. Awesome trivia. Thank you. Make sure you guys make sure that you guys follow my my YouTube page. I'll bring it up in a second. And then we can get to the discussion part. So definitely hang along. Go get some water or something. If you guys got to make a call, go make a call. And then we'll get to the discussion part of the show. Now, last week I kept score. Bitey wasn't here, but Bitey won last week, and I kept score. So it was a little bit difficult to run the boards and keep score, so I couldn't keep score. But I think I told you guys by the time the season finale comes up, I will be able to keep score and will try to have a prize. So we got 3 episodes left. So I should be able to have a prize. So yeah, so this is my YouTube page, you guys. So please make sure you guys like and subscribe and run it up. And like I said, we're trying to add some things to the trivia by the end of the season, and meaning a prize and some scores, right? So that would be great. So if you guys if this is your first time coming to my page, I got a couple things on here. For one, I do a ton of interviews. So I was lucky enough to interview a lot of the cast. And so right now, the biggest interview I did was with Smiley, Jamie McGuire. And then we've got Scott McCord. I've done Donna. I've done Cortion Moore, who plays Ellis. I did AJ Simmons, Chloe Lindiscoot, who plays Christy. I did Avery Conrad. I did Ricky He, who plays Kenny. I did Elgin. I did Tabitha Ann. Most recently, I did Tien Chen, Elizabeth Moy, and Angela Moore, who plays Bacta. And so I've definitely been lucky enough to interview all these guys. So if you guys want to know some of the questions or behind the scenes, you can check out those interviews. It's there on my page. And I believe that some of the questions I asked them were very early, but I'm starting to see things come full circle. And if I watch the interviews again, I can tell by some of their facial expressions that they just don't want to answer. Like Avery, I talked to her about the schizophrenia. I talked to her about the cuts on her arm. And she was like, oh, I don't want to say, right? And because she said it hasn't been released yet, right? So there's information in some of these that could help us, solve this. And then also, I just put my most recent video out with the episode 7 explainer. And I got a couple comments here. So I wanted to go over the comments while we discussing it, because I know July Rome. Antidote, our resident hurricane survivor, just popped in. Robert Saunders, thank you, just popping in to show support. I really, really appreciate it. Hey, Robert Sanders is another big theorist. He actually is big on the numbers and the letters and the last name, and he really goes into detail about who you can tell is dying next. So, Robert, I would love to hear more if you caught that Tilly, because man, that was random. Lily says she's having a couple of drinks. I appreciate the donation. Antidote. Let's see. So Fletcher says, yes, my Acosta theory came from an interview also. Yeah. Greetings. July says Acosta looks like Smiley. Oh, she does. Now that you mention it, she has a big mouth, right? She has a big mouth. So she says, I'm gonna like this joint. So Greek girl says, I'm gonna like this joint. Now, so let's start there. So July Rome said, did you notice who the man in yellow is? So let's start there, right? So if you guys like spoilers, so I can't do what I was doing before. So I don't know if you guys know, but I was kind of each week after we did the From Trivia, I was kind of going into some details and that weren't out yet. So, but anyway, somebody reported my page, and so I can't really release things like that. And I had to wait a while before I uploaded my next video, so it's kind of messed up. But I was able to find out, become more official, pretty much. And so, but I can share some clues with you guys and let you guys know some things. So I'm gonna put this down for a second. But if you go, I spend a lot of time on IMDb. I spend a lot of time, rewatching episodes. So if you go on to IMDb, it tells you right here who the man in yellow is, right? And so if you guys see, it says right here, Douglas E. Hughes, man in yellow. So all we had before was a picture, right? All we had before was a picture of the man in yellow from the basement, right? That's all we had. And so now we have his name, and we know what episode he appears in. Oh, did it go away? Let me go back to present. Sorry. So it says right here, IMD. What did you say? IMD has the boy in white actor as Victor. Yeah, he does. He does. I'll go to that next. And so it says here. Where you go? I keep going back. Yeah, so it says David E. Hughes, the man in yellow. So he appears in one episode. And so it says right here, Revelations chapter 2. So that's episode 10. But it says here, man in yellow rumored, right? So I mean, I don't know what that means. Let's take a closer look at this dude. So this is the man in yellow. So let's see what other stuff was he in. Oh, he was in the Umbrella Academy. He was in, says Sid as Douglas Hughes. I don't know. I don't really see a Far Cry 6, the video game. He did a voiceover. Self-Made, The Life of Madam C.J. Walker. He's in Lock and Key. I mean, so it says he's been acting for a while. But I guess this is who the man in yellow is. But as far as what the man in yellow, she says the actor looks just like the man in the painting. He does. He sure does. He sure does. So Christopher said, "Who's the jerk that report you? Is your other favorite from casters? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it seems like a couple of them was hating a little bit, but it's all right." So Robert Sanders says, yes, my theory that the characters with double letters in their names, Don and Abby, are dying in alphabetical order and the double L's. Oh, yeah, Tilly. Wow. See, Robert Saunders, man, that was amazing. So he did know that. He did know that. So let's see. The boy in white, like he said, is listed as Victor. So I'll go to him next. So here we have Sarah Booth, who plays Miranda's mother, right? And it says that she's in 2 episodes. So she's in, one episode this season. She's in Revelations chapter 1. And going back to the guy who's playing the man in yellow, he's in Revelations chapter 2. So we know that we're going to see Miranda coming up again. And so this is episode 9. And he's in episode 10. So we're at episode 7 right now. So we got one more episode. And then I guess we're getting something with Victor's mother. It's probably going to be her death scene. I guarantee, because we did not see what happened to her body. So I guarantee Victor's mother. Sorry. How is the boy white Victor? I don't know. I'm going to his character right now. I gotta look for what his name is. Let's see. Simon is Simon Webster is Ethan. The boy in white. Let me see. I don't see him up here. Okay, here he is. So the boy in white. No, it doesn't say that. But I did see a picture where it said the boy in white and it said Victor, but I don't know where it said that. And so that could have been, I was going to say it's probably a mistake. That's why I only watch IMDb, because it could be on another site and they could have filled in that, right? So it's not official, but IMDb has to be somewhat official. I say maybe 90% official. So it did say, so it just says the boy in white. Now, Miss T just said the actor did an interview where he said he's hoping to have a recurring role in an upcoming show. When you say the actor, you mean the boy Vox Smith, who plays the boy in white? Yeah, you guys, Faith and Repentance, thanks a lot for playing along with us on the From Trivia, and have a good night. And yeah, like he said, guys, let's hit that like button. Yeah, so I mean, we don't know, but I can tell you guys what Ankui means. Ankui means remember. So when you see them, um, at Tabitha and yelling Ankui, that means remember. Oh, okay. The actor cast is the man in yellow. Okay, got it. But yeah, so like I said, the Ankui means remember. And I thought it meant the trees, right? Like that was really what I was going at. And when I did my live stream um, about the 1506 theory, I believe that it was a Bethonk. I might not be saying it right, but yeah, Lily said it right. The Bethonk, I thought was the Bethonk language, and they were saying Ankui, and it was Indian language, and yeah, Native American. It goes way back, but it means remember. And so what they're trying to tell Tabitha is to remember, remember, remember. All right, have a good night, Greek girl. Thanks a lot for joining. This has been a great stream, and make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll be here next week for episode 8. So yeah, so remember. All right, so let me go back. Go back to my YouTube. So I'll just flip through. So this was my newest video, and of course this is how we all feel trying to explain our theories are from. I mean, just a whole bunch of theories is definitely difficult. Wow. So of course we find out that there was nothing going on in Fatima's stomach. I mean, on the right is an actual picture of what at first or second trimester pregnancy would look like. Here's a picture of what we saw in the show. Now, a lot of people were saying that they did see something in there, but it would be a yolk sac and a gestational sac. So it kind of is confirmed that it is not anything in Fatima's uterus. Now, I felt like this was appropriate for Randall. I mean, he got his inside got to match his outside, right? I mean, man, why so serious? He caught a raw deal though, but he's lucky to be alive because I thought he was a goner, right? He's a goner. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in a second. I'm gonna get to Fletcher and I'm gonna get to July Rome's theory. They had a lot going on in the comments, so we can discuss it. But I want to discuss it last because some people might need a little bit more explanation. So he says, yeah, Randall Joker, boy Batman, exactly, right? So yeah, Randall was laid out. So if you see this on another, if you see this reposted on another from page or from streamer, I made this. I spent the time to come up with this and make this. Let's see, I can speed it up a little bit. So I thought this was so. I mean, I kind of knew Tilly wasn't behind it all, but I did think for a second that she possibly could, right? And really wanted to see where her character was going. I had no idea that she was going to get killed like that. Yeah, Kenny is definitely Robin. I had no idea that she was going to get killed like that, man, and she got murdered, man. But she was really in Fatima's business. Like she should have backed up a little bit, right? Like she should have backed up. She should have spent. I mean, she was coming on too strong with Fatima, and I could tell she could sense something was going on with her. But because she kept pushing around and kept pushing that around her, Fatima started pushing back. Now, I don't know if it was Fatima that pushed back or what she's turning into or something inside her, but we know that's not like her, right? Like everybody's acting different, right? And so what if, that's what I was saying, like, what if there's some sort of self-defense that she could say, like, oh, I really wasn't in my right frame of mind. It really wasn't me. It really was, what if we find out that she is possessed, right? because we do have a couple of clues that could be what's going on. And she looked shocked, right, when she stabbed her. And she did say that the cravings and that every day she's getting more angrier and angrier. Now, if you guys know, I did do the theory, the video where I said that she's becoming a Wendigo. And I mean, that really fits the description, and it could be argued that the Wendigos could possibly be the creatures. But I mean, I'm sure that they just took a lot of different myths, like they took a lot of different stories and put this stuff together. So I mean, the show is based on like 3 or 4 Stephen King novels. So why wouldn't they take 3 or 4 different creatures or myths and mix them all into one? They're not really vampires, but they are. They're not really Wendigo, but they are. They're not really ghouls, but they are. They're not really fae, but they are. Like, you can take and just really make, add to the mystery with these half details. And yeah, when I put this in here, when she stabbed up Tilly, it was almost like, if you guys see Making the Band, it was like, "You're too close, man, back up." Like, she was like, "Get out of my face." But it's a shame, man. Tilly caught a raw deal. And that's the left side too. So she definitely died. But we didn't see her drag the body off. We didn't see her eat Tilly, right? So that's why I believe she's gonna get caught. Like, they're gonna find the body. Where did PM say that? PM said Tilly deserves what she got. When a pregnant woman is putting boundaries and you keep harassing her, that's what you get. Oh man. No, exactly. I'll get to that in a second. Well, I'll show that right now, because yes, I just did the same thing. I said that in my video. I mean, if you look at it, it's kind of the same, right? I mean, I said the same thing. I was like, man, I looked at it again. I'm like, the beard, right? The hair. But the only difference is I can't really tell if this is a pocket. The pocket's on the other side. No, the pocket's on the same side. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it looks exactly the same. Pants are a little bit different, right? But we don't know. So I just wanted to so she's gonna hang her body up and make lunch chops. So I just wanted to go to that real quick, but I'm gonna jump back to where I was breaking down the story. All right. So I mean, here's where we get the all hands on deck with the diagnosis. We talked about that. I mean, I kind of want to know how did Fatima get her stomach like that, man? I mean, like, she really flexed her stomach, and she had to have done that herself. We found out that the medicine that he was going to steal was the paliperidone, which was schizophrenic medicine, antipsychotics. And we know that it was pretty much to treat people with schizophrenia. And now I just wanted to know how Ellis knew the right medicine to grab, right? I mean, he could have grabbed anything, but he grabbed the right ones. But I also want to know, how old is Ellis? Because I swear to you guys that he is like 16. But also, too, I mean, it's not the first time we've heard of drugs on the show, right? We did hear that Henry say that him and Miranda took drugs, right? Him and Miranda took acid, and that's how she started seeing things. She started painting, and that's how she started saying she was chosen. So that's how, I mean, I feel like it could be, how she was schizophrenic as well. So we got pretty much 3 schizophrenic people. We got Miranda, we got Fatima, we got Sarah, all schizophrenic. And it has been times where cannabis has caused psychosis, right? So we know that Julie's been smoking, right? And we know that something's going on with her as well. She's starting to have reaction to the ruins, and she's trying to figure out what happened to her, when she goes by it. So all these things could be some sort of form of psychosis that's really going on, that's causing them to all act like this. Then, of course, we got Elgin. So Elgin, I think that the storylines between Elgin and Tabitha are definitely connected. So PM even Julie was shocked at first. So Ellis definitely younger than Fatima. Yeah, he I swear to God, he's 16, and Fatima's like probably like 28. So I think that Elgin and Fatima's stories are connected. I mean, we saw a lot of that when he first arrived, and then we get a lot of this, right? He's taking the pictures. All of a sudden, in the picture, kind of sped up, but in the picture, the kimono lady pops up behind Fatima, kind of like, pointing him in that direction. Like the kimono woman is showing Elgin things through the picture. And I think this is a big clue. Like I keep trying to go back. I think it's a big clue when we see the kimono woman touching Elgin, because it was kind of like that thing before where it was further and further away, and now it's closer and closer to the point where it's touching him. Like this thing literally has his ear. And so he's really being controlled by whatever this thing wants. And I think it's kind of manipulating him, like help for him to help her, but it's really he's doing what it wants her to do. But I don't think it's a regular creature. I think that Elgin came to this place with this kind of curse because um so wait, Westside Manila said, well, he's finished college. El said that so he's mid-20s. I didn't hear that he finished college. Yeah, yeah. I didn't hear that, but if you heard that, yeah, I said like 28. I said Fatima's like 28, but I didn't hear that he said he finished college. Maybe I missed that. Yeah. But that might change some things if he did, because I didn't know how old he was. So this part here pretty much making a connection with the root cellar, right? We've seen Jade in the root cellar and so I thought maybe the body, trying to go back. So I thought maybe the body was this guy, right? So the body that we see in later in the root cellar that Elgin finds, I thought that might be, it could possibly be the rock guy, but it looks more like Jade. So, but yeah, so Elgin pretty much goes down there and finds everything that nobody else found, right? I mean, how many times have people been in the cellar, and then for some reason, all of a sudden, he finds a third door, right? Crazy. So we don't know whose medication it was, but he said that, well, when I say he, I mean Ellis said that you've got tons of medication that was in the ambulance. So it looks like they got it in the ambulance. No, that was one of the questions, just me. That was one of the questions on our trivia tonight. Tilly gave her morphine, liquid morphine. So we know it wasn't that, but the name was on the bottle. It was something Thompson. Yeah. So all we know about the basement is that Ellis says, no, I keep calling Ellis and Elgin, but Elgin says, is this where it happens? And he talks to the kimono lady. I mean, but I was really looking at this for clues and trying to figure out what's going on. And if you look closely at the shirt in this picture, it looks different from Jade's shirt. Now, actually, this is like a more zoomed up. And I also thought it might have been Christopher, but Christopher always has on a sweater, right? And they completely abandoned the symbol storyline. Like they're not even looking for the symbol no more. Like, and so yeah, I mean, this is the picture I had of Christopher's car, and it might be the Thunderbird. That's a horrible picture, and it's a picture of the TV, so it's not gonna come out. But Christopher has a book, and he's got that shirt, so we see that it's not the same one for the guy laying on the ground, but they do look very much alike in this picture. But as I get closer and zoom in, I can tell that the guy on the ground shirt has like squiggly lines, where Jade's has solid lines. But it at first glance, it looked identical. Hello, Lady Amano. Welcome. Welcome. Said if you zoom out, yeah, I mean, I looked like it, but it looks like this one has squiggly lines, right? It looks like it's like solid, and it's like squiggly, solid, squiggly. But I mean, listen. I'm all for the time travel. I think I said that before. Listen, let's just loop this whole thing out, right? Let's take it all the way back to the beginning. Let's loop it all the way out. Yeah, I mean, we definitely going to talk about this next week. Hopefully, we get some more information. I hope they just don't introduce this whole dead body in the corner and then never talk about it again, right? They wouldn't do that. Would they? Of course. But we see the kimono lady down there, and this is the first time we see her anyplace else beside the colony house, right? And I also thought that it was very interesting that she's the only one that we see, for one, during the daytime, and then for two, in the house. Remember, every creature is usually outside the house. So I thought that was definitely a key detail in her character. And for a while, I didn't know if Elgin was the only one that could see her because no one else has saw her. There was a couple of times where I thought maybe, maybe some other people might see her, but I kind of think now that Elgin might be the only one that can see her, unless somebody else does. But we have to wait and see. So here, Elgin asks, "Is this where it happens?" And we know that from earlier that there's in that room, there's a bed and there's like table, and so like I said, apparently somebody was living down there, and apparently Elgin and Fatima's storyline is connected. So what do I think is going to happen? I think that Elgin is going to get to Fatima, and he's going to somehow get her to come to that basement, and where she's going to finish transforming, because we know she's not pregnant, so she's not going to have a baby, but she's going to definitely finish transforming into something. Now what she transforms into, we don't know. Now, I mean, there's a couple other scenes that I think were important, and one was Donna was giving out bodies. Donna was giving out bodies, man, this episode, man. She was kicking Fatima Ellis out the house. She's, pretty much low blowing, cheap shotting Boyd, talking about his wife. I mean, she's just going hard in the paint, right? I mean, she's taking 100% of her shots this episode. So, I mean, I don't think she had to bring up Abby like that, man. I feel like that was a low blow. Because look, I mean, this place is obviously not normal, right? And it can cause a lot of crazy stuff to happen. So, and if we find out, what if she's right? What if Abby was right? Now, this was crazy to me that Acosta was trying him like this. And this is why I was saying that they need to bring the box back, man. Acosta might, first of all, she killed an innocent person. She wants her gun back, and she does. But see, they honestly could tell her that, hey, last person with a gun started shooting everybody in the town, and it ended up having to take her out, and that was my wife. I mean, like, they could communicate just a little bit more with Acosta, but her attitude isn't the best. But Boyd's really not in his best shape right now after what he's been through. But I expect a little more from Donna, and I don't know why she's looking like that, but. So here's a storyline that I want to hear some more of. I really want to know what's outside the cabin, and I believe we were talking about that. We need to figure out what was outside the cabin. We hear about it more and more. We heard about it, in this scene where Jim is here with his side piece and his aggressive side piece, and I was trying to figure out, like, why would she say, "Jim, are you coming?" when clearly his wife and kid are right there, right? I feel like that was just weird. For her to be like, "Hey, Jim, you coming?" Like, and so she's even credited, right? So she's credited as Nancy. Her name is Nancy Kenny, and she's Colony House resident too. But you don't see anybody else credited, right? Like, meaning the other guy that was there with them, or even the guy that found Tilly's body, right? I mean, he wasn't even credited. So I don't know, but for some reason she's credited. But yeah, Jim. And they were pretty much talking about it like, hey, whatever that was, moving around last night, it wasn't the same thing as the creatures in the village. Yeah, exactly. It'd be like, all right, see you later. Right? Lily says she got to rewatch all of it. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's some crazy stuff. But yeah, so I don't know. So I thought that was weird with this lady, especially for her to be credited. But it was a quick scene, so yeah, you gotta watch it. But anyway, So then I'm trying to go back. So yes, so these guys pull up. They pull up at the rocks, and somebody had a very good theory about what these rocks were, based on the Puritan guy who was drinking the blood out the skull, out the children's skull, as some might think, and then also who was, head was stuck to the tree with the railroad spike, and the way the clothes he was dressed. They were able to determine that these rocks might have been three colors: red, white, and blue, or red, blue, and white. And that so that's like French. It's like a French flag. So that's what they were saying, that based on the clothes, based on this, that, and the third, these rocks were painted red for the French who did send the colony to Maine. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of subtle details, man, for things like that. But they don't give us enough clues to make a full deduction. And of course, Tabitha doesn't know anything, even though Jade thought it would be a good idea for her to come here. So I don't know. I don't know if it was really a good idea, because we didn't really find anything out. But we found out, I mean, I guess we did find out that from them, the conversation that they had, that they're all going to end up there no matter what they did in their lives. So whether Jim and Tabitha were together or not, they were still going to end up there. Ethan, all these things was going to be there. I guess they had to be there if they had to have Ethan. And then Jay was always going to be there no matter what, because they were having the visions when they were children. So we got Miranda having visions. We got Tabitha having visions when she was a child. Abby having visions when she was a child. So all these people were chosen. It looks like everybody can either try or die. It's really like try or die. And I'm guessing Abby might have been the real one who was chosen, because she also had a dream when she was a child, but she died. Tabitha, who had a dream when she was a child, was chosen. So, but I mean, of course, a lot of talk, a lot of people been thinking that Tabitha is Eloise. So just me say, okay, so only if going back in time. Fletcher says fate and destiny, same thing. Well, when he was talking about it on the show, he was saying predetermined destiny, right? Predetermined destiny and fate. He talked about Aristotle and said that Aristotle was wrong then about fate and predetermined destiny. So fate meaning that, what's going to happen will happen, and predetermined destiny was that, I guess you could say pretty much the same thing, that whatever you do, the same outcome will happen if you do it or not, because it's supposed to happen. So Lil Dirty X says you can alter your destiny. That's like you can either solve the Fromville or you can die. Jay Sleek, how's it going? Welcome to From Discussion episode 7. We're sort of breaking down some of the picks here and going over just how useless Tabitha is when she's like, I don't remember, or right when I got to the part that could give you the most information, she woke up. So we're just trying to figure out, what we got from this scene where Jade kind of was letting them know that Tabitha was always going to end up in Fromville. Well, he actually said you were always going to end up in front of the tree. And so I try to be specific with what people say, because if you stretch it out too much, you'll miss a detail. So he said you were always going to end up exactly in front of that tree. And that tree, we know, was the start of this place. So I think that was a specific way he put it for a specific reason, because maybe it could have been a bottle tree, right? We know it was the down tree, of course, but I think he says tree for a specific, because tree is a symbol, right? And the symbol is the hope of the Ankui kids. And I think I told you guys earlier that Ankui means remember. And so when Ankui kids circle Tabitha and they're like, Ankui, they're trying to tell her to remember. And I think we're trying to figure out, what do they want her to remember, because now she's talking about a dream that she had while she was a kid. So I mean, there's pieces coming together. She said Ethan cracked me up with his little lumberjack. Yeah, said Jim was literally gathering food for the kids and being a good parent, right? Jim was literally getting food. He looks like it's his dumbass family in shape. So, Christopher, when you say you don't think anyone is dead, you mean anyone where? Like anyone in the whole show, anyone, um, or just anyone right now, right? Or what do you mean? So, was Abby right? I mean, that's the question. Was Abby right? Who is right? I mean, and so also too, I wanted to get into some details about Jasper and Victor. I mean, we saw a lot of that going on in this episode. Where episode 6 last week, we saw Victor go into the cave. He got pretty much harassed by the swing coat lady who told him if he comes down there again, they're going to keep him. And I think a lot of people were trying to figure out what that meant, right? Like, what did they mean by if he comes down here again? When did he come down there, right? But I think that looking at some of the pictures in the past, I think when Victor heard the conversation between Jasper and Christopher, they were in the cave. Now I don't think I got that picture up here, but I think that's what it was. And I really wanted to see how he thought he was going to make Christopher talk, because Christopher is a doll, right? Christopher is not real. And even in the scene where Jasper was talking to Christopher, that was not a two-person conversation. I think that was just Christopher asking and answering both himself, right? And I think that Victor just happened to walk in on him and hear the conversation. But I think that we all know that even if it was a one person having two conversations, that it was the other person was the entity, or some people say the entity and the boy in white, the same thing. So we know that the boy in white was somehow communicating to Christopher, and that's how Christopher found out about the bottle tree. And then then Victor said that he went and told Miranda, which is mom, and then that's how his mom went to the tree. And that's pretty much what he's remembering. But if you guys remember in some of the details of the episode before, when they were at the car graveyard, this is the scene where let me go back. So I did have it on here. So this was the scene where he said that he overheard Christopher and Jasper, the puppet. Now, if you look at the background, they're in the cave, right? So I guess this is what I was saying, like when the creature said, if you come down here again. So he's in a cave right now. They got lanterns. I mean, come on, they got lanterns. You can see the rock wall. And so he's in a cave. So apparently he used to be in a cave all the time. And so I think that's why there's so many things in the cave, because I think either Christopher used to live in the cave. So let's see what comments say. So Fletcher says, so Abby, his dreams and kills everyone because that's how you wake up in the real world. Boy in White kills Tabitha and Fromville by pushing off the huge lighthouse. Oh, where did she wake up? But did she die though? And do we know that she didn't fall to a ledge or something? Or, I mean, because we didn't see it. And that's the only reason why it makes me frustrated, because if we see her fall and we see her hit the ground, we know that she hit the ground. If we see the body, then we know she's dead, right? But we didn't see none of that, right? And so we don't know exactly what happened, but we have to interpret it, right? And now, yes, you're right. If you fall from a lighthouse, you're going to die. And if she died, she woke up in the real world. But then how did she get back? Because she obviously got back when the boy in white wanted to bring her back, and she obviously went when the boy in white wanted to send her there. But how do you push somebody out of the lighthouse and they send them someplace different, but then they end up coming back normally? It's weird. So he says, so July Rome says he's talking to Jasper the same way Jay talks to Tom. He's also seen the kids. Yeah. When you say, when you say he's also seen the kids, you mean Victor? I don't think Victor has seen the kids. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's a good Little Dirty X, the basement of the church. Well, if this was the basement of the church, there would be steps there, and there's like shelves and stuff in the background. And so, and it looks like a high ceiling. I felt like when you're in the basement, it feels like a low ceiling. So Just Me says, referring, yeah, he's seen the kids. Yeah, Jay has. Yeah. So Fletcher says, how do we know How do we know what? So July Rome, I'm going to get to your. I'm going to get to your theory in a second. And so, just so everybody knows the different comments and who the people are, Miranda is Victor's mom. So we found that out, and so that's that's the part I'm getting to. But I fast forwarded, and so okay, so I skipped ahead a little bit, but we know Victor was in the. Here it is. So So here we go. So I had it all laid out, and I messed it up. But anyway, so Victor hears a conversation with Christopher about the kids in the way to save the kids is to go through the bottle tree. He hears the conversation between Christopher and Jasper. So then he goes back. He tells Miranda his mom puts him in the basement, right? And then from the basement, Miranda goes to try to save the kids because that's where her mission was, right? And we found out from Henry that she took a whole bunch of acid, started drawing paintings, and then says she was chosen. And so we know she leaves. And I guess some does, but we went to I'll bring this down for a second. I went to IMDb, and on IMDb we know that Miranda, the woman who plays Miranda, is coming back in episode 9. Let me scroll down real quick. So Sarah Booth is the woman who played Miranda, Victor's mom, and she'll be back in Revelations chapter 1. So right now we're at episode 7, so that means we got episode 8, and so episode 9. So if she's coming back, of course it's going to be a flashback. And because, let me bring the screen right back. Because according to this scene, Victor says that Eloise said that's where my mother went that night. She went to save the children locked in the tower after she left the root cellar. But here's the thing. Victor remembers that it wasn't Jasper, right, that told Christopher, right? It was the boy in white. And then that it was he's the one who told his mom to go to the bottle tree. And so Eloise would not have told him, right? So he says here, Eloise said that's where my mother went that night. Eloise didn't tell him that because he's the one who told Miranda where to go. So this is so he contradicted himself. He contradicted himself here. And so he feels responsible for his mom's death. So he's the one who feels responsible for his mom's death. And so I'm guessing that in episode 9 is going to be the flashback, and we're going to find out how she dies, because that's where it's all leading to, right? We kind of went through this whole investigation on all these different things. And so now we're going to find out what really happened to Miranda. Now, as far as what happened to Eloise, and was she there, because some scenes we see Victor's by himself. Some scenes we see Victor was with Eloise. Then we see Eloise leave, but we don't know. Maybe she wasn't there at all. I mean, there's been weird stuff like this that happened, meaning that could Victor and Eloise be the same person, right? Like we haven't seen her, right? We only seen her in his flashbacks. Could that be his alter ego? Could it be his imaginary friend? Like, now we did see pictures in Henry's house, right, for Tabitha, but do we even know any of that was real? Do we even know any of that was real? So Fletcher says because she's the showrunner's daughter. So who was you're talking about Clara? Clara is the showrunner's daughter. When you say showrunner, you mean Jeff Pinkner, John Griffin, or Jack Bender? Wow, so that's why. Well, that explains it. So that's where I'm at now, y'all, as far as with Victor and his storyline, that he's the one who told his mom to go to the bottle tree. So Eloise never told him. So he never seen Eloise again after that night. because we weren't really sure. We're like, well, if he came out the basement and then if Eloise said that's where his mother went, then he had to see his sister again. So that would mean that his sister was still out there somewhere, possibly escaped. But no, he didn't talk to his sister again. He's the one who told Miranda to go to the tree. And we're going to see that episode 9, and Miranda's going to get killed. Now, I don't know how she gets killed, but guess it's a creature. Or maybe she'll fall to her death. So Fletcher said my whole Eloise theory is in your comments. So in the comment of this video, all right, let's go to the comments and see what Fletcher put here. Let me see. Is this the one? So Fletcher said, honestly, I'm not liking Boyd's attitude towards Christy. I think he put it down here. I get that the town is breaking him, but chill. Acosta just arrived. It was her first night, and not like she's been there for years. The way he talked to Christy, how would Christy know how to help Fatima? And Jade is actually trying to get answers. Now, I agree he is. And Boyd is like, I thought you had something exciting. Yeah, that was let down. That did let me down. Oh, I think it might be on the other video. If it's on the other video, I'll go to it in a second. Okay, he said not that. All right, I'll go to the other one because that must be the same one that July Rome theory's on. Boy, you gotta be the asshole. Yeah, so once I finish this up, I'm pretty much done with that. That was pretty much the last theory I had, was that we've seen Eloise young. We have not seen Eloise as an adult. A lot of people are pointing towards Tabitha. I'm sort of pointing towards Donna. I still think Donna has to have some bigger role here. She's either the mole. We did think she was the witch. She could be Eloise. Now, I know her hair is different color, but it's a TV show. Literally could have dyed it or found some dyeing, cut and dyed it. Or some people were saying that it's actually Sarah, but then that would not explain Sarah's brother. But some people were saying that Sarah's brother was actually her abusive boyfriend. So, I mean, there's just a lot of details to this that we just don't know. But I do know that Ankui means remember. And so anytime you see the Ankui kids talking to Tabitha, they're telling her to remember. And I did see an interesting theory where someone was saying that Tabitha is Miranda reincarnated and Jade is Christopher. And that's where I want to get into next. That video, I believe, well, the comment that I want to read is here. Let me see, sort by newest first, yeah. So Rome, his July inks here, but Rome did this theory. So July Rome did this theory, and so it's pretty deep. And so if you guys don't want this level of spoiler, you guys can cover your ears. But this was pretty deep. He said that the show is called From because it's where Jade is from, and that the woman in black in front of the hiding kid in the intro drawing is Fatima. The woman in black in front of the hiding kid. Okay. Oh, okay. I know you're talking. I've seen that picture. Elgin is going to help Fatima hide out in the cellar. Unknowingly, the kimono woman is using Elgin for Fatima's body because her child was stolen. Now, I did cover something like that, trying to figure out who the kimono woman was. There was a like La Llorona or something like that kind of fit. But I've seen like 5 or 6 that I can't remember that also fit. But I just came across the La Llorona. It was like a woman missing her child. It had something to do with water. So I went with that. But there's a lot of them. But yeah, okay, I can see that because her child was stolen. She'll be coming to steal Ethan. And that, but or he says steal. How about kill Ethan? Because they was kill the boy. Remember, that was what was coming up a lot. Ethan is in danger from not only her but Jade as well. Okay. Episode 10, Jade will find out his true self, who him and Christopher were reincarnated from. Both of them came from the person who sacrificed the kids for knowledge, answers, and power, like Odin, hence guys with missing eyes and Jade's vision. Tabitha is being warned about the kids about Jade. Tabitha is being warned by the kids about Jade. Ankui, he used us as in sacrifice, just like the guy drinking from a child's skull in the vision. They're warning her because Ethan is with Jade while he's discovering his truth in Revelations Part 2, Episode 10. From Jasper, because Jasper will only speak to him. Jade came in celebrating with Toby on a big deal. The big deal is his software company, yes, to the hospital lab connected to From. In some way, Jade is responsible from how From is. It's been in front of us the entire time. Tabitha and Jade are each side of the coin, like yin and yang, where Miranda and Christopher. They, in fact, are reincarnated, and Ethan is the child who's in danger. Okay. So what do you guys think? Well, he says La Llorona has a movie. Yeah, it does. Oh, okay, La Llorona and Lake of Tears. Yeah. So Eloise is a coast. Okay. So what do you guys think about that with July Rome's theory? I mean, there's a lot, but I believe um, I'm starting to see that it could be possible that Miranda, that somebody else. There's a lot of people on this show that could be a lot of different people, right? One, somebody could be Eloise. I do think Miranda's dead, right? So I don't think somebody could be Miranda, but possibility could be some sort of reincarnation. But there's just so many different directions. There's time travel, right? There's Tabitha passing out, right? There's who threw down the rope. There's what are the creatures. There's so much, so many pieces. But it has to connect somehow. And even though Jade's a big part of the story, I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's all about him, but I think that he definitely has a main storyline. That's the best way I could put it. Jade definitely has a main storyline. Tabitha definitely has a main storyline. So Fletcher says, "Why Jade and Christopher? What's the connection?" I mean, honestly, I think some of this is going to come down to it's just a TV show that Jade was just casted. Yeah, Jade was just casted for Jade. The actor who plays Jade was just casted as Jade, and the way he wrote it was Jade is a couple of things, and one could be Christopher, and that's why Christopher was coming to him and showing him the symbol, right? That's really it. I mean, because if you look at season, it was either one or two. Jay started seeing the symbol, then he started seeing Christopher, right? And it's just like, so I mean, that's really the only connection that it is, that Jade saw Christopher and Jade was looking for the symbol. And then I don't really get the connection between, well, I get the connection between Tabitha and Miranda, but I don't really see how they could be the same person or reincarnated, where Tabitha was looking for the kids, Miranda was looking for the kids. That's the only thing there is, right? In Fromville. So Fletcher's saying in the pilot, Tabitha looks dead after the crash and Jade looks dead when he falls. He does, doesn't he? Yo, they definitely look dead. It looks literally like they died and got rebirth. Yeah, that's true. All right, I want to read Fletcher's comment. I guess he said his is here, but I might not see it though. It might, if it's way at the bottom. Yeah, I don't see the comment. I want to read it. Fletcher's. He said his is about Acosta. He said his Acosta is Eloise. Yeah. Well, Acosta has to be somebody. I mean, she definitely came. They said the biggest comment. Oh, maybe it's a comment. Yeah, let me refresh then. Sort by newest. Maybe it's down here. No. Man, did you reply? Maybe did you reply to somebody? Man, I don't know. He said, damn. I know I wanted to read it, man. Damn. Yeah, it might be. You think it takes more than a day to travel to the cabins? Well, you can't get to the cabins. I would say this: you can't get to the cabins and come back in one day, right? You got to go and stay, and then or go and come back. But you can't go and come back. But we're still trying to figure out what's outside the cabin. So, but I wanted to. There's a ton of other stuff going on. But he said so. Fletcher said, okay, it's in the episode 7. Yeah, I'm in the 6. All right, let me go back because that's like I said, I want to read his. So, of course, while we're looking for all this, guys, make sure you guys are liking and following my page. This is my YouTube page here. Okay, here we go. Oh no, it's the same one. Someone reply. Well, all my comments you should be able to comment. There's no like waiting for approval. This is 7. All right. Christopher. So if you guys don't know, Christopher is our resident survivalist. He thinks that he can survive from and not only survive, he could escape in 2 weeks, and that he could go. Now he's saying he could go to the cabins and back. And avoid the bear traps, avoid whatever is creeping around out there, and avoid the creatures. I got it. Well, Boyd did that, right? Boyd was in the forest the first night without a talisman and stumbled upon a talisman, right? Lucky him, right? No, I don't have Discord, man. A lot of people are doing the Discord thing lately. I messed around with Discord a little bit, man, but I didn't get in there, man. I didn't fully get into it. But if you got something, email me a link, and I might have some time to get back into it. So I didn't have any different pictures for you guys this week. I usually have a couple of different screenshots and a couple of different images for you guys, but really don't really have much. I mean, just waiting for episode 8 to see what's going on. But it looks like 7 and 8, even though I thought 7 was good, it really wasn't much action wise. Same thing with episode 8. I don't really think episode 8 is going to be much action wise. It seems like it's going to be a lot aftermath. We as we see here, Tilly was lit up, so it could possibly be that they're going to be looking for Fatima. And we know that there's a couple of things going on with them. The next episode is episode 8, and it's called Thresholds, and it says accusations start flying, and truths come to light in the aftermath of tragedy. Victor struggles to recover long buried memories about the town's past. Julie and Ethan search for answers, and about the mysterious ruins in the woods. Right. But I mean, if you guys want to know some things, I can answer some questions. I do have some information about some stuff, but I mean, a lot of people don't like spoilers. But I do have some information that I could share with you guys. I always try to. I think I told you guys. Oh yeah, so Lil Dirty X. I'm reading the comments. He says I'd be more surprised if there wasn't another group trapped in Fromville. I mean, that's kind of what Lost was, right? 2 sides of the plane. So I possibly thought that there was another in that Lost village. There was going to be other people, but it looks like there's not. Only new addition we got is the man in yellow, and we learned from what I showed in IMDb, he's popping up in episode 9. Episode 10. let me see. I'll go back. I'll go back to the IMDb. I just gotta bring it up. I can't get to it. Episodes. Oh, here it is. Okay, episodes. Cast. I'm trying to get the cast on here. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at IMDb, and not that I go by IMDb, but they only gave this episode a 6.3. Usually, From gets like an 8.5. So episode 7 gets 6.3. Episode 8, it looks like it's not rated yet. Episode 1 got an 8.5. Right there, I feel like they kind of skimpy with that. Damn, 6.3. So see, episode 1, 8.5, episode 2, 8.1, episode 3, 8.1, episode 4, season 3, episode 4 gets an 8.4, episode 5, 7.3, episode 6, 6.9, and damn, episode 7, 6.2. They're tripping. Episode 8 and 9, of course, not scored yet. And episode 9, we get Victor's mother, Miranda, coming back. And in episode 10, we get the man in yellow. We find out what he's about. But I got some theories on who the man in yellow is already. It might be a little bit too early to reveal that. Right, episode 7 at the bottom of the comments. Oh, okay. It says on the comments. Okay, I'll go to that right now. Let me just bring this out because I said I was going to bring it up. All right. So yeah, so this guy right here, Douglas, right in the middle, Douglas E. Hughes is the man in yellow. It says rumored though, and when you click on it, it says it looks like we don't have any photo. They might have taken it down. Somebody might have put this up, but it said, "Oh, well, I'm on the last episode, so I'm on Revelations chapter 2, and it says here he's right here." So we got the swing coat creature. We got pretty much everybody. I don't see the boy in white on here. We got a coat. Yeah, I mean we got the regular cast, but I'm sure we have to go to full cast to see if there's anybody else. All right, let me go back. So now I'm gonna bring up. Let's see his comment. So while this is coming up, Lil Dirty X says smiley creature, and so I mean I'll go ahead and say this. I have reason to believe that the smiley creature is going to come back. I have reason to believe that the smiley creature is going to come back. Yeah, I have reason to believe that. What have I done? You stabbed someone. So Westside says, ever wonder why the monsters aren't far and out in the woods after the point they're not there? Boy, Sarah got thrown by something else. Yeah. Kenny and Jim heard it. The people just told Jim something else out there. Yeah, exactly. I definitely agree with that. And that was a big part of my my video. We hear that all the time as far as people trying to figure out what is outside the cabin. And I wish they would just tell us. But unfortunately, I don't think they're going to tell us this season. July, who is he? Who is the man in yellow? I mean, besides him just being the man in yellow, who is he? And the only person I can think that he could be, because there's one voice that nobody knows, he's possibly the man on the radio. That's the only thing I can think of, because That's the only that's like I did an episode. So the reason why I know it is I did a video top 10 mysteries, right? And that was one of the mysteries, like who's the man on the radio, right? And then this guy comes up out of nowhere, he's in yellow, right? And we see him cast it on the finale, like that's the only person it could be. Um so we know Ankui means remember. We know that there's something outside the cabin, and we know that the symbol, they don't talk about the symbol no more. We know that the symbol is the trees, though. We literally saw the symbol etched in a tree. I mean, to me, it don't get no clearer than that. The tree is a symbol. And when Jade was in the cabin, I mean, in the cave, and he looked up past the altars, he saw the symbol, which was the roots, which is the roots of the faraway tree. So we know all these things already. We know that they were predetermined to be there, right? They were always going to end up in Fromville. We know that they were chosen and chosen by either the entity or the kids. And their thing is to solve the riddle or free them. Now, how do you free them? Now, I think that's the other part that Jade is working on. Jade is working on freeing the children. And if you look at this picture here, it's been in front of us the whole time, right? Oh, wait, I don't even have it here. Oh, okay. I can show you guys. I had to go back. I had to go back to the trivia. Here we go. So if you guys look at this picture, right? This is how you free the children with the violin, right? I mean, that how dramatic was that scene with Jade playing the violin, right? And I started thinking, like, why is he even playing the violin, dude? Like, it was kind of random, but we had tonight also one of our categories was the jukebox. And if you dig deeper into that, the jukebox is music, right? They play a lot of music on this show, right? The jukebox is always going off, right? And so I think that is, and we know that there's entities out there, voices or whatever. And I think that it is music. They're trying to tell them that the music is how you free the kids. I swear to you. Christopher says, play some music from the phones. Play some music from the phones. Yeah, so playing music from the bottle tree. So I don't know what song you gotta play, right? You gotta I don't know what Spotify playlist you gotta have, but I don't know what song they would play, right? But maybe that's but who said that? Play music from the bottle tree. Miss T. So Miss T, you just made me think like that could be a good point because you see Jade trying to figure it out, right? Like Jade is in the bar and he's laying down the notes and then Ethan's helping them and they're trying to sort it out. We don't know what they are, right? But I mean, I don't know how music notes, I don't know how notes look, right? So I don't think they look like that. I don't know, but I'm guessing that he can do something. Yeah, and then that's another thing. The radio, the people, they're in a car graveyard right now. Cars frequency and the frequencies play music. I mean, it has to be. It says nobody plays loud music from a car, speaker, or anything. Well, sound waves. And I did this video, so let me go back, right? And I tried to tell people this, right? I did this video. Go back on my page. I did this video. It's gonna take me a minute to find it though. A while ago, and I did it about the bell. Right here it is. I did the caves. I did the visions. I did the jukebox. I did the bell. Right. So this is probably my least watched video. Right. But I swear to you, I for some reason I knew that it had to be something to do with frequencies, right? From Boyd ringing his bell. And sure enough, I mean, if you look into it, it's a whole bunch of stuff, right? It's music for the brain, right? It's trances, and it's brainwave frequencies. It's tons of stuff, right? And then we always see what boy doing what, ringing the bell, ringing the bell. I'm telling you, that was always it. So, but the bell wasn't music, right? But it had to do with the bell. And then also the bell can tie in with witches. It's tons of stuff, right? Um, how all this stuff works. So, and it was also when the show first came out, this was the most image that you saw. You only saw the bell, right? The bell, the bell. And really they was making it more about boy ringing the bell than about their survival and their escape. So that's how I'm kind of like tying it all in with the frequencies and the songs, the music. It just kind of developed. But I honestly believe that the writers didn't have this thing finished. And then they were, as they go on, they're expanding on to the original idea. I think it started from, could that have been it? It started from, could that be what the show is about? It started from the notes. It started from the bell. It started from the bell. And then now they kind of evolved past that, right? Now they had violins, they had songs on the jukebox in the diner, and then they go into That's How You Free the Kids. So he said, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, ABCs have the same sound. So he says, frequency is maybe a key. That's the first thing Jade and Jim tried to make and get. The monsters redirected it because the house collapsed. I got to go back on that. I'm trying to think. I do remember them working together. And I know they were trying to put the radio on the tree. But I don't remember them making anything with a frequency because it caused the house collapse. I don't remember, but he said the dinner bell. So Miss T says the violin notes have reverse 2s and 7s. Where did they have the reverse 2s and 7s? All right, let me go back. He says it's in the comments. But yeah, man, check out that video, you guys, and if you think I was onto something with that, let me know. Let me know. He said it's in the comments. Sort by new. Oh, so it must be here. Oh, here we go. So he says, so Fletcher says, so this theory will sound nuts in the beginning, but just listen. Samantha Brown, Acosta's actress, told on an interview that the showrunners don't let her reveal Acosta's first name. Oh, that's right. It would be her last name, which means Acosta's first name is major to the plot. Okay, I can dig with that. What if Tabitha wasn't supposed to find just Henry in the real world, Victor's father, but also his sister, Eloise? Now, the latest episode, Acosta told Kenya that she actually doesn't have family at home. My theory is that she might have traveled through time and ended up in the real world, but a different timeline, which explains her age difference from Victor. Now, I can see that there being an age difference because I believe that I swore I heard Henry say Victor's only been gone for 12 years. I could have swore I heard that. And this goes back to the theory of 12. So he says, how did she travel through time? Victor says she found Miranda's body near the bottle tree. Yes. And we see Eloise going after Miranda. Yes. When Victor stayed in the cellar. Triple yes. I believe Miranda is found near the bottle tree. Yes. And we think that's what's going to happen in episode 9 because of the IMDb casting. Because she sacrificed herself for Eloise to enter and get killed by the monsters that were chasing them both. Okay, I can see that. She ends up in Camden, but in the future, that explains how Henry didn't find her. Because he was looking for a little kid. Okay, and that little kid only shows up in the future. Okay. And then except time, we don't know her age, and probably ends up in an orphanage. Okay. Like she told Kenny, she didn't have family because she ends up in the real world, probably losing memory, not knowing Henry's house. Okay. It's a wild. Well, that's not that wild. It's not. Yeah, it's not really a shot in the dark. You based it on facts, and yeah, I think it's good. Oh, so that's what you think. So you don't know her real name. She think it's Eloise Acosta. Whoa. Eloise Acosta. Wow. Man. I like that a lot. Yeah, I like that a lot. Eloise Acosta. Man. Man, I like that a lot. So Just Me says, what is the theory of 12? Oh man. I'm trying to think if I don't even have any clips to bring up to show you, but or I might. I actually might. I'm just trying to think where I might have it at. Um, trying to find out which one it might be in. Who's on the phone? Okay, it's probably the one that said who's on the phone. But numbers, well, I'll just break it down. I can't remember which one it is. It says we need to zoom in Acosta's badge to see what her name is. It just says Acosta. Yeah, he only saw little Eloise. And see, I was gonna go as far as to be like that Miranda was stepping out with Christopher, right? Because I don't understand where the Christopher connection comes through, but it's like, what if Miranda had two baby daddies, right? So she's got Henry with Victor, or Victor with Henry, and she's got Eloise with Christopher. She talks Christopher into going somewhere. They get trapped up in Fromville, and then we get this whole thing. And the reason why I say that is because we got Tabitha seeing the kids like Miranda. We got Jade seeing the symbol like Christopher. And we know that those two were connected somehow. And possibly had one kid, which is Eloise. But yeah, we only saw in the flashback, and when I say we, meaning the audience. He laughed. He said Miranda's for the streets. Oh, I said Miranda's for the streets. Hey, Henry had to work, so he couldn't go on his trip to Fromville, but he there now. Let's see. What other things we still got to figure out is how did Miranda's jacket or shirt or whatever that was end up in the caves? Because I'm telling you, she was down there with Christopher, right? Christopher was in the caves and in the yams. I'm telling you. So Miss T says the backwards 2 and 7 tell you what pitch to play on the next violin. Oh wow, do you play the violin, Miss T? Because that's amazing. I would have never see how I'm telling you is we all work together. We can solve this thing, but we can't do it alone. But Christopher, the other guy, where's Christopher in here in the chat? Christopher in the chat was going to swear he can make it out alone. We need a group. Here we go. This Christopher thinks he can make it out on his own. Yeah, so I think we went over a lot of stuff tonight, y'all. It's been almost 3 hours. I think we hit the nail on the head. I'll do a quick recap before we get out of here. But I really appreciate you guys joining us from trivia. I really appreciate you guys. I feel like we actually made a lot of stride with this information. Now that so little Dirty X says Christopher was a corpse hidden in the room. Well, I was thinking that at first, right? Could it be Christopher? Because we don't know what happened to Christopher. But I don't think it's Christopher, right? Because for one, the shirts don't match. And this guy, I guess you can't be a fat corpse, but I'm about to say this dude a little bit chubby. But pretty much we think it's Jade, right? Fletcher thinks it's Jade. The shirts somewhat match from a distance, but when I look a little closer, it looks like a squiggly line. The hair matches, right? But this guy has a beard. You can see he has a long beard. Now, Jade, he did let his beard grow. And let me see if I have it here. Jade beard is gray, right? Jade's beard is gray. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of similarities here with this being Jade. He said him and Jade have the same fashion sense. Yeah, no, the show is definitely amazing. There's no doubt about it. So just to recap real quick what we talked about tonight, man, we came up with the fact that Ankui means remember. I think I told you guys that. I'm pretty sure on that. Ankui means remember. So when you see the kids around Tabitha, they want her to remember. And I guess I don't know what though. And then we found out that the symbol is the trees. Well, I told you guys that the symbol is the trees. The symbol is actually literally on the tree in the flashback, and Jay's looking for a symbol. So we know that that's the trees. And then he's in the caves. He looks up. He sees the roots, which make the symbol, which are the faraway trees and the bottle tree. So that's how the children can control who goes where and what. But it's only certain people that are chosen that can go through the bottle tree, that can get to where they need to go to try to free them. But we don't know how to free them. And if you follow the boy in white pushed Tabitha out the lighthouse and said this is the only way, which it can't be the only way if in order to free the children, you have to play music, right? Like we were saying, it has to be some music. Because Tabitha came back, she didn't have any type of music, right? She just came back with more than two people, but she came back with, like Fletcher was kind of saying, she came back with Henry, and she came back with Acosta. Acosta is definitely a reoccurring cast. I won't say she had a main storyline, but she's definitely a cast. And right, we don't know her first name, so she could be the missing key. But to freeing the children, so all that could really mean is that she was also chosen to free the children. But I don't really see Acosta and Jade working together. But we know Jade is the one that is probably the one that's going to have to free the children. So we got to figure out. So now all we got to find out is what's outside the cabin. Right, we need to find that part out. We need to find out what is going to happen in here, right? We know that Elgin's down there, and we know that he talks to Kimono Woman, and she says, he asks her, is this where it happened? So we got to find out what happens. And then we also got to find out what happened to Christopher. We got to find out what really happened to Miranda, how she died, where Eloise is, and is Eloise in Fromville? We gotta find out what is going on with Fatima. We know she's not pregnant, so what type of creature is she turned into? So that's all we gotta figure out. So man, I hope you guys have fun tonight. Of course, like I said, it's always a great time to be a From fan. Check out my videos. I just put one up on my YouTube page. Remember to help like and subscribe. It really helps me continue to make videos like this. And it's really competitive right now. There's a ton of people doing From videos, but I'm trying to do something a little bit different. I'm trying to do something. That's why we do From Trivia. And if you guys missed the first half, you can go back and you can watch the From Trivia and play along. Next week will be episode 8, so we'll have another From Trivia. And if you guys have any information, you can definitely email me. My email is in my bio. And if you guys would like, I'm trying to figure it out for the season finale to maybe have some people on here as guests, or maybe have a call-in number. But definitely, of course, we're going to play From Trivia, and I would like to have some prizes. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next weekend. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for everything. All right, you guys, have a good night.